Hello, and welcome to Mortal Media Channel. Today we're going to discuss the topic of buying a phone, a new versus used. It's a great topic because average family has four people, and by the age of 12 at this day and age, most of them have phones. And you don't always want to buy a new phone for every family member, and there's situations where you will or will not buy a new phone. So let's talk about it. The first and probably the most important thing to understand is how long does your phone technology last? And our average user uses phone for 2 years and then they change it to the newer, better technology. But this phone still good for at least a year or two after that. So your average phone could easily last year one for anywhere from 1 to 4 years without you actually going too out of date with current technology. Why do we buy new phones? Well, there's a couple of good reasons for that. Number one is we like to keep up with new technology, and those of us who do usually buy a new phone the day it comes out. Sometimes we even pre-order it just to have the latest and greatest tool. Number two, our contract expires, and we are now eligible for upgrade. I don't know if you notice or not, but most of the US providers will expire contract. Well, your contract runs for 2 years, but your eligibility for upgrade is after 22 months. That's a great marketing tool for you to buy a new phone and stay with the same provider. Let's now talk about why we buy used phones. Number one reason I would say is the fact that a phone is broken or it took a dive in the toilet and it's not repairable. So we're looking for the way to replace it. And the best way to do it is at this point either A, buy a new phone outright, which is very expensive. Typical cost for the new phone smartphone could run anywhere from $600 to $800, unless you go for the older, cheaper models, which some of us do. And the other option is to get a refurbished or used phone. Those are great options, especially if you want to stay with the same model of the phone. Typically, when that happens, our phone is usually 6 months to a year in its life cycle, and the prices dropped on the original phone usually drops by that point. But when it comes to refurbished, you could typically walk into Walmart or some other places that do refurbish the phones and get that same phone for $100 to $200 less. Or if you get a used phone, you can even drop that price more. I would say $300 off of the original brand new phone price. The other reason we would buy a used phone is teenagers. We buy a phone for a teenager. The first phone that they get is most likely to be broken within first 6 to 12 months or even less. It's either going to be broken or it's going to be lost. So why spend all that money on a $600 to $800 device where you can get them a last or 2 years back model, which still does the same stuff for quarter of the cost of the new phone? Let me give you another good reason to buy a used or refurbished phone. Most of the countries outside of the US have been, for many years, selling you cell phones separately from the plan. So you would pay the full price for the phone, and then your monthly cost for the plan is a lot cheaper. And in the last 2 years or so, US providers have been doing the same thing. They're allowing you to buy the phone outright, and you can go ahead at that point and subscribe to the plan that's a lot cheaper. Well, now, if you go ahead and buy a refurbished to used phone, saving $200 to $300 on the phone, you can now go ahead and get a plan that's $20, $30, sometimes $40 less a month than if you were to have a phone baked into that plan. So let's go ahead and do a quick summary. Before you buy a phone, whether it's a new or used, you need to consider a few things, like what phone you're going to buy, who are you buying this phone for, why are you buying this, how long it's going to last. And then at that point, you can make a decision whether you buy a new phone or a used phone. Very simple. However, that could dramatically affect the cost of your device. And for most of us, that's very important. So thank you for watching this video. Give me a thumbs up if you like it, and don't forget to subscribe.